Alright, hello everyone. R6004 here with a new series, and this time we're going to be taking on a Nuzlocke challenge of Pokemon Sapphire. So, let's get into the game. And let me do a little bit of explaining while Professor Birch does his own explaining. So what is a Nuzlocke challenge? A Nuzlocke challenge is a kind of self-imposed challenge. When you take on the story mode of a Pokemon video game, with certain rules that make the game harder for you. So let's first, alright, excellent. We got a little, Azuro there. That isn't Azuro, right? Azumarill? I always mix them up. Anyways, though, so let's talk about some of the rules. So I'll be using very standard Nuzlocke rules. So first of all, you must catch the first Pokemon that you encounter in every route, or I guess you don't have to catch it if you don't want to, but you can only use Pokemon that you've caught as the first encounter. The second rule is that after a Pokemon dies, you cannot use it again, so that Pokemon is considered dead, and you must find a new companion. My third rule is something called Dupe's Clause. So essentially, if you run into a Pokemon that you encounter and you've already seen that Pokemon, you already have that Pokemon. For example, if I run into a Zigzagoon, on Route 103, if I've already caught one on Route 101, say, then you get 5 chances to encounter a new Pokemon. And if you don't encounter a new Pokemon, then you just don't get an encounter for that route. Alright, so first. Alright, am I a boy or am I a girl? I will play with the boy character this time. That being said, both of them are equally awesome. Ooh, what should I name this? I actually don't quite know. I guess I could probably pick a default name. Actually, why don't we just go with R6004? It's a classic, There we go. Oh, do I even get numbers? Oh boy. Oh, let me hit select again. Alright, there we go. There are the numbers. Excellent. Alright, so moving to the hometown of Little Root. Let me finish the rules explanation though while we begin the story. So we have third rule, which is Dupe's Clause. My fourth rule is I'm allowed to use healing items, but I can only use 3 per battle. So that's gonna prevent me from stalling, making sure that I don't just like toxic the opponent and then just heal stall, just spam like full restores or whatever, so I can win battles. Yeah, there's not gonna be any of that. My fifth rule is that I have a level limit, which basically means that my level can not be, when I enter every gym challenge, I can't have a level higher than the last Pokemon of whatever like that gym leader is. So for example, Roxanne's Nose Pass. Watson, I think, has a oh boy, I know he has a Magneton. I think he has an Electrode as well. I guess I'll be learning a lot. But yeah, this playthrough is going to be blind, as in I am going to be looking up what the level limits are, just like the highest level of the gym leader's last Pokemon. But I will not be looking up trainers, I will not be looking up the rest of the gym leaders' teams, I will not be looking up strategy guides or anything like that. I'm going basically just off of memory, so yeah, it's pretty scary. I don't know how it's going to go. I hope it's going to go alright. And I should mention our last rule, which is just going to be simply set mode. I'll be playing the game on set mode, which means I don't get a free switch in every time I feint one of my opponent's Pokemon. Alright, so just getting some story introduction out of the way. Excellent, I get a new clock. So I don't think we're going to be doing many time-based events, but I guess we'll see how it goes. There might be some things with like Shoal Cave, for example, that I might need to think about. And yep, I am using set. Alright, so let's set our clock. So right now it is about 10:30 in the morning. So let's see if I know how to use these clocks. Oh boy. Alright, so okay, this is 10 o'clock. So I think this is 10:15. and I think this is 10:30. Yeah, it looks good. I hope this is, I guess it really doesn't matter because there's no like day-night cycles in this game, but I'll do my best. Alright, so like a new room. Alright, so it is actually very important to get, now in this game they give you a free potion in your PC. That's going to be extremely important because some of the early fights can get a little bit scary if you don't get the optimal starter, your nature on your starter is not that good, or simply your opponent gets like a lucky critical. Alright, so it looks like brought you this report from in front Petalburg Gym. Oh, it's over. I think Dad was on, but we missed him. Alright, so I guess we're going to visit Professor Birch. Yeah, on your character's father, his name is Norman. He's a gym leader later in the game, as was just teased. And dang, is he a hard gym? He uses some pretty scary Pokemon, so I'm definitely not looking forward to whenever we go and face him. So awesome! I guess we're going to meet our new female friend. Very excited to see that. There she is. Who are you? R6004. So you move us today. I'm May. Glad to meet you. It's interesting. If I play as the... Okay, I was hoping that you'd be nice and that we could be friends. This is a very touching dialogue. But it's interesting that if I were to play as the girl and, go meet Brandon here, Brandon would make some very interesting comment about how he didn't expect that, the Pokemon trainer, he heard his dad's friend's brother, his new neighbor, was a Pokemon trainer, but he didn't expect him to be a girl. He didn't expect her to be a girl. That's if you're playing as the girl character. Some pretty touchy dialogue. Pokemon may learn up to 4 moves. Excellent. Movesets. That's going to be a very integral, important part of this. But yeah, there's some pretty touchy dialogue for 2018 standards. Anyways, though, let's go ahead and move on with the story. So, alright, looks like Professor Birch needs some help over here. He's being chased around by a Poochyena, which, by the way, is a Zigzagoon in Pokemon Emerald, I believe. Alright, so, our starter. We saw that the way I decide my starter is with the last digit of my trainer ID. And if it's a 1, 2, or 3, I go with Trico. If it's a 4, 5, or 6, I go with Torchic. If it's a 6, 7, 8... Oh, wait, sorry, 7, 8, 9, I go with Mudkip. And if it's a 0, I can either pick or I go to the next guy. I ended up getting a 7, which means I'll be going with Mudkip. Awesome. Alright, so I guess we're into our first Pokemon battle right now with just a level 2 Poochyena, so it shouldn't be too hard. I hope so. We'll probably just spam a few tackles here and there. Alright, so one thing I will be doing in this run, I will be playing with animations on, for the most part. But, there's some areas in this game where, there's just a lot of grinding. It might be like a dungeon, an enemy team hideout, etc. There's just a lot of like repetitive battles here and there. And I will be switching to turn off animations for that. I'll also be doing that for grinding, just because, it saves a lot of time. It's just kind of a waste of time to watch all the animations over again. Alright, awesome. So we're in the Pokemon Lab now. Excellent, and we have received the Mudkip. So, yes, we will be giving a nickname. One thing about Nuzlocke is that there's kind of an informal rule. Some people say it as a formal rule. For me, it's always been kind of a thing on the side, but you are encouraged to nickname your Pokemon. So, I will be using a nickname theme, and my nickname theme will be colors. So I have this, nice little Wikipedia page with a list of a lot of common colors and common shades. I think there's some pretty cool names. So one that surprised me quite a bit is I was looking at shades of blue, and there is officially a color called, let's see if I can spell it. I hope I can spell it. Called Duke Blue, and I love Duke stuff. So I'll be naming my Mudkip Duke. If you work at Pokemon to gain experience, I think you'll make a darn good trainer. Alright, so I guess I have to go and see May, and she has to teach me what it means to be a trainer. Now this fight, as you can expect that we're going to go fight her very soon. This can be a very stressful fight, so because I picked Mudkip, May will have a Trico, and you know, Trico's not like super strong early game or anything like that, but neither is Mudkip, and we have to be very careful. We're probably going to be using that potion just to be safe, because I don't want Trico to knock you know, Mudkip out with a critical or anything like that. Alright, yeah, it looks like these guys are just giving us basic information so we can keep going. By the way, the encounters don't count. So because I've not received a Pokedex and because I don't have a way to get Pokeballs, it doesn't matter, like, you know, my encounters or anything like that. So, you know, I'm just playing through the game. I'm just going on. Alright, so make sure to talk to this person. So he or she will kind of guide you around, telling you about the Pokemart, and gives you another free potion, which is extremely important. Trust me, you want to take advantage of all these free potions that they give you, because sometimes you're put in a pinch and you just don't know what's going on, and it can be extremely stressful, you know, if you don't have some way to heal yourself. Now this guy's going to tell us to go away, because we have to go up to Route 103. I don't think there's anything of importance in these houses. Alright, let's see if we can talk to her. Okay, there we go. Yeah, that is true. That is something very important. You must keep, you know, just stay aware of the order of your Pokemon. Alright, so let's go and take on May. Actually, let's talk to this guy first. Yeah, see, that guy knows. If he was in a Nuzlocke challenge, he'd be screwed, but hopefully he's not in a Nuzlocke challenge. Oh boy. Alright, I'm already like super scared, and you know, it's just like the second battle of the game, so let's see how this goes. So I think I'll probably let's toss a growl. Alright, let's see how much this does. Okay, that does 3. Alright, okay, actually that's not a big problem then. Alright, yeah, let's just we'll just tackle our way to victory then. He is a little bit faster than me, so I'm a little bit scared, but yeah, I'm actually not doing that. Alright, he's got the Weir on me, so I need to watch out. So at first he was doing 3, then his next thing did 2. So I guess he should be going back to 3 now. Okay, he did 4 there. That's a little bit scary, but it looks like we have this fight in control, so as long as he doesn't critical or anything like that. Now you might think that I'm you know, paying a little too much attention to detail, but you really have to be you know, rigorous with Nuzlocke challenges, because you know, even like the smallest kind of advantage by your opponent can lead to some pretty tragic accidents. So you have to be really careful about, you know, keeping your Pokemon safe. Excellent, I'm pretty good. Alright, yeah, I guess time to just run back. Might as well heal up at the Pokemon Center while we're at it. Alright, you will be hearing this music a lot. It's very important music. Anyways, let's get back on the road. I guess May's just chilling out here. Tell us, I mean, I didn't really need your help, but okay. I'll take it, I guess. It's nice that we could just jump down these ledges to get back. I believe that's true of every single game where, you know, the first route, like you cross it, and you may run into wild Pokemon, but on the way back, you always have ledges to jump over, which is pretty convenient. Excellent. Alright, so now we have a Pokedex. So now we're able to actually go out and catch Pokemon. No, I think he'll give us some Pokeballs too, just to make sure. There we go. And so now we are able to go up and build our team. So I'm going to be visiting some of the early routes in this episode and try to start, you know, catching some Pokemon here and there. trying to add some members to our team. Alright, so I guess talk to our mom first and get the running shoes, I believe. There we go. Awesome. Alright, so now we can actually move fast. Now it's interesting. You actually do run pretty fast in this game. It's a very nice pace. You also get a bike later on in the game, which is pretty fast. Oh, actually, I'm just gonna run around this grass. Look for an encounter. Excellent. We got a Zigzagoon, which is a very useful Pokemon. Now, a lot of people think, oh, it's Zigzagoon, it's just cannon fodder, but actually, Zigzagoon can be quite an important Pokemon to any Nuzlocke run of a Generation 3 game. Alright, so we'll just tackle it once more. Hopefully, we don't get a critical here. Alright, let's just toss some Pokeballs. And why don't we toss the Pokeball, see where it gets us. Alright. There's 1. There's 2. There's 3. Excellent. So, now that we have a Zigzagoon, first of all, let's give it a nickname. So, alright, yeah, add it to the Pokedex. And we'll be calling this guy Buff. Reason is, yes, there is a color called Buff according to Wikipedia, which is a shade of brown, which is not unlike Zigzagoon's shade of brown. Well, of course, Zigzagoon has 2 shades. You know, like its head and then its tail. You see that like alternating pattern, but Buff is close enough, and I think Buff's a pretty nice name for what a Zigzagoon will turn into. So let's just quickly. Actually, we can heal up a little bit later. Let's go get our encounter for Route 103. There are a few more options here. I believe you can get a Poochyena here. I believe you can get a Wingull here and a Wurmple. Alright, excellent. We've got ourselves a Poochyena. So, alright. We're going to... Actually, you know, we'll just toss the Pokeball now. You gotta be really smart about catching Pokemon, because if you knock it out, then you don't get another encounter for that route. So you have to be really careful about it. Excellent. So, Poochyena, it's an omnivore. It would eat anything. Same, honestly. Well, I guess actually, literally, same. And humans are omnivores. We'll be giving this little guy a nickname too. It is a male, and we'll be calling it Jet, because Jet Black is actually another color. Now, of course, I don't think there are enough shades, but there probably are enough shades. I won't always be naming a Pokemon based off of like the color that it is, but I think for these first few ones, it's nice to get like the naming theme started. Alright, now we can probably heal up a little bit and take a look at our team. So, you know, most Nuzlocke runs start out very similar. You get a lot of the same, you know, Zigzagoon, Poochyena, Wurmple, Wingull, all that kind of stuff. But, you know, these are not bad Pokemon. I mean, Poochyena, like when it's evolved into a Mightyena, can have like a really large attack stat, which can be really important in Nuzlocke. So it is a sassy nature, which I honestly don't remember you know, like the plus blindness stats on that. But alright, looks pretty nice. Has Runaway, which is not the most useful ability, but I believe it will get Intimidate when it evolves. So that's going to be pretty helpful. And Zigzagoon has Pickup, which is actually really nice in Nuzlocke, because, you know, you walk around and it'll pick up like things like potions and stuff, which can be really useful for you. So, yeah, looks like we have a nice team started. Oh, let's take a look at Duke the Mudkip. Alright, so those are some pretty solid stats. Modest Nature. Wow, I do know Modest Nature off the top of my head, because that is one of the ones that are pretty popular in like competitive battling. And in Modest Nature, I'm fairly certain it's either plus speed minus attack or plus special attack minus attack, which means that like your speed stat or your special attack stat is boosted while your attack stat is lowered, which is a little bit unfortunate, because I think that, you know, Swampert is a pretty good special or physical attacker. But in Generation 3 and before Generation 4, so like, you know, Generations 1 through 3, and we're just gonna head over here and get our encounter. But in this generation, every single move of a type is the same. Is like either physical or special. So for example, all water moves are special, all grass moves are special, all fire moves are special, all poison moves, for example, are physical. So we'll have to keep that in track while we also catch this Wurmple. So alright, let's just lay a tackle on it. Oh my god, I missed. There's like a 95 or 5% chance of that happening. That's pretty annoying, but whatever, I guess. So we did trigger our first Dupe's Claws, when we first saw that Zigzagoon. But it's okay, we found our encounter in time, so no big deal. Alright, so unfortunately this guy's been string shotting me, so it's gonna be a little bit annoying, but I think we've weakened him enough to toss a Pokemon Ball. And in the meantime, let me look up a potential nickname. Alright, so I'm trying to think of what Beautifly might look like. Or I guess I could get a Dustox. So, it may not be prudent to assume that I have a Dustox or a Beautifly and then try to name it based off of that color. So, I'll just pick a nice color for Wurmple herself. Alright, looks like Folly is a color. I like that. Folly. Folly. If you guys remember from Pokemon XD Guild of Darkness at Pokemon Coliseum, there's a guy named Folly too, Folly and Trudley. Those guys are pretty interesting characters. Some of my favorites in Pokemon games. Actually, I just like XD Gale of Darkness, like overall, I feel like its characters just have like a lot of personality, and it's just a really funny game. It's a good time. Anyways, let's get these healed up, and what do you say we just do our first trainer battle for today, and then we call it a day? So, feeling a little bit risky. Why don't we put out Jet in the lead, and why don't we do, start to get some training. So I did say earlier that the XP share is fair game. Actually, I didn't say that earlier, but it is fair game, and the reason is I just feel like, an XP share can be really useful and saving time, so you're not just, grinding out like level 2 Puchianos on like Route 101 Pokemon, or like using switch training when you can just be using the experience share. It's pretty convenient. It's really nice. Of course, we don't get it for a Tail Whip. That's kind of scary, but I think we should be good. Let's just start tackling. 6 hit points. Alright, yeah, this is not looking good. Okay, looks like I'm faster though, so. Alright, there's another Tail Whip. Oh boy, man. Yeah, this is actually my, oh god. Yeah, this is my first Nuzlocke ever, and it is pretty stressful. Oh my god. Alright, yeah, this is pretty scary, but okay, yeah, alright. Yeah, this guy just tail whips his way to death, which is quite unfortunate, but I'm just thinking if he had tackled me that last time, then he might have taken me almost all the way out or something. Yeah, it's not good. You have to be really careful. This is my first Nuzlocke, and I'm trying to avoid death as much as possible. I know that, people are going to die eventually, but I'm really trying to, put a good impression and do my best. So, with that, that concludes part 1 of my Sapphire Nuzlocke. And part 2, we will continue our adventure, start moving on, and see what new challenges await us. See you guys.